How you guys doing today? What's going on? So today I want to talk to you about sports and how sport can affect you. You got to be aware of it, and it's detrimental on your health. So last night my football team lost in a competition to get to a final. They lost, and it was disappointing. That's just what you would expect. Being a fan, if your team loses, you get disappointed. But I watch a fan channel regarding that team, and the majority of people on there are just beside themselves with anger, upset, just, do you know what I mean? Like, just hatred towards certain players or whatever, like. And it got me thinking, like, and I've thought about it for a while, to be honest, but so, I mean, over the years I've heard several things about fans dying at grounds and stuff, or even at home watching their team, because there's these chances to get an equaliser or win the game, or, do you know what I mean? And for whatever reason, even if it's a goal, certain people will have a heart attack because of the excitement in the moment. But it also goes the other way. They won't get the goal and they lose and they drop out. But the thing is that these people, they're so invested in their team that they let it ruin the rest of their day and the following day, and for God knows several days after that. Some people let it affect them for years upon years, and you got to ask yourself, is it worth that? Because I used to be like that. Maybe not for years and years, like it would affect me, but I used to be like that. But after going on my journey and stuff, like, you realise that there's so much more things in life that are more important, and people don't realise the health effects it has on people and themselves. They get so invested in their teams and their players that it affects their life, it affects their health, because when they don't get the result that they wanted, they throw a tantrum like a toddler. Some of them die, some of them have heart attacks or strokes or whatever, because they get so invested in it. Now, I understand, like, sport's an exciting thing, and I'm not saying you shouldn't not watch sport at all, but you have to get control over the emotions it gives you. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in hospital. It's just going to be detrimental to you. You're going to have a heart attack, you might die. And, do you know what I mean? It is crazy, because this is something you're meant to get enjoyment from. But then on the flip side, when it don't go your way, you can't handle it. And I know this seems like I'm trying to have a go at you, but I'm not. I'm doing this to try and give you some enlightenment and to wake you up to the fact that unless you start trying to find ways to change this about yourself, it's going to be detrimental to you, because you haven't got control over your emotions when it comes to the end result of a game. As I said, I was disappointed last night, but the people on the channel, they're like, some of them are almost crying and stuff, and the host of the channel, that's meant to be the one that everyone looks up to, he's the worst for it. I mean, today, like, he's not good with timekeeping anyway. I'm just going to be real. He sets, like, live videos to go live and have interaction with people, and the majority of the time he's late, so that's not a surprise to me anymore. It used to annoy me a lot, but now I'm just like, it's just unprofessional. It is what it is. But the fact that he's the leader of that channel, today, as I said, he was meant to go live at a certain point. 2 hours later he was on, because he said I was meant to do it about 2 hours ago, but because of last night I was so upset. I've watched the goals over again today. I'm still so angry at how poor our defending in that was. I get it, you're disappointed, but move on. Move on. You're gonna give yourself a stroke, you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. You might die. He's got kids as well. So is it all worth, is the sport, what I'm saying, is the sport and your team and these players worth more than your life is at the end of the day? Why can't you enjoy it without putting yourself in hospital, potentially, or dying, potentially, or having other health issues because of it? as I said, we get into sports because we love the teams, it's exciting, we love the competition, that's fine. But you have to find a balance. As I said, I've heard so many stories of people dying at football grounds or whatever. There's probably other events in the world that happens because of the excitement and that. I think it's a little bit different when you're there in person because there's more elements to add into it. But a lot of people, they just can't control themselves, and that's what ultimately leads to what happens to them. So you have to get control over that. And I'm not saying it'll happen overnight, but you have to be aware of it in the first place to change it. And care. I think a lot of people think, I'll tackle that some other day. But that day never comes because they never focus on it. They never get present in and zoned in and get that tunnel vision on this actually is bad for me right now. Because especially if a team is going through a long period of hurt and disappointment and not at the level you think that they should be, because you're going through constant years and years of that emotion, that negativity and that low vibration it puts you on. But there's more to life than sports, guys. Go to watch your team, and regardless of the result, I'm not saying don't be disappointed, but don't let it give you a stroke, don't let it give you a heart attack. Like, what are we doing here? It's just sad to see, man, because I'm a sports fan myself. I like sports. The playoffs start tonight, I believe, for the basketball. So I'm going to be watching that. But my team's not even in the playoffs. Am I crying about it? No. Would I like it for them to be in it? Yes. Is it the end of the world? No. But some people think it is. And you've got to have more things going on in your life outside of sport, because when you don't, and sport's your pleasure and the only thing that you like, there's a problem. Because, like I said, when it doesn't go your way and your team doesn't win, especially in a final or something where there's more on the line, you think it's the end of the world. It's not. You need to kind of take a step back and actually think about it. Like, there's wars going on in the world. People are dying. Children can't even have food or dinner or clean water. And you're acting like that about something that we're lucky to have in the first place, to sports. And do you know what I mean? It's entertainment at the end of the day. We're lucky to have it. Because I think the problem is as well, people use it as escapism. Like people do with junk food or weed or alcohol. People do it with sports as well. Now, it's fine if you do it to a certain degree, but you have to do it in moderation, like anything. And you have to have a balance. You have to be aware that it's not the end of the world, guys. Like, your team's going to have ups and downs. Some team, like, I was watching a video from a Newcastle fan the other week, and they were saying that because they didn't get the takeover happen in the end. And I know that they had a lot riding on that. It would have been great for them if they had the takeover. But who's to say that they could have invested a ton of money, bought a load of players? That doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to win stuff. Them players still have to gel together. The owners still have to get on with people inside the club. Even down to like the kitchen staff and stuff. If there's tensions there, it's going to affect other things. And I don't think people think about that. They just think about putting players, getting like Messi, putting him next to Ronaldo. And yes, they're great players, but there's nothing to say, because we've not had proof of it anyway. But there's nothing to say. You stick them two in a team together and they're actually going to gel. Maybe they will. But they might also not gel. And I don't think people think like that. But what I'm saying anyway is, I was on this Newcastle thing, and someone was getting in the comments at me because I commented on something like that they was having a bit of a victim mentality, like saying that that's not actually going to help them with that mindset. And they got defensive. They were saying, if you was actually a Newcastle fan, you'd understand all these years of hurt. And I was like, I didn't even get into it with them that much in the end, because it's just not worth, because they're trying to drag you into their low vibration. I'm trying to help them talk about mindset and everything. But certain people you can't help. Certain people you can't wake up. And it's just disappointing to see, man. Because it's, as I said, it's affecting people's lives. People are dying, especially with everything going on at the moment as well. I think there's even more focus on that as well at the moment, because a lot of people are still at home and the sport is the main escapism for them. It's the thing they look forward to the most. It's taking up a lot of their time, probably more so than usual. So when things do go wrong, it's in their mind, it's even worse than it actually is. But I was just trying to say to these Newcastle fans, like, having a victim mentality about it and not getting the deal done in terms of having a takeover at the club, it's not the end of the world. You're still in the Premiership. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to move on. It's no good sitting and crying about it. It's not going to change it. The decision's been made. And as harsh as that may sound, that's what the reality is. But having a victim mentality is just going to make you feel worse for longer anyway. But they couldn't understand that, and they were just getting defensive. And so with people like that, you can try help them for a bit, but don't waste too much time and energy on them, because they either get it or they don't. But yeah, man, overall, just enjoy sport, support your teams, but don't let it take over your life, man. It's not worth you having health issues because of it. It's not worth you having a heart attack. A lot of these people have kids, as I said, and they're leaving their kids behind because they're going to events or whatever, or they're watching it on telly, and they're so invested in it, more than their family life probably, and they're dying. They're having strokes and heart attacks and all sorts of things. It's not the end of the world, guys. It's there for entertainment. Use it as that. Don't use it as the be-all and end-all. But I hope this helps, guys. Might seem like I'm ranting a bit today, but I just can't believe some people, man. Like, and I used to be in that position, but we have a choice at the end of the day to change it. And I don't think people want to change it necessarily, because if they did, they would. And I think a lot of people, they realise when it's too late, and that's the sad part. But enjoy your sport, man, but just keep a balance and do it in moderation, man. Have a good day, peeps. The sun is out. Go get some rays for my white people. Get out and get some sun, but don't stay out all day in it, because you know, unless you're a lucky one, you know that we don't deal with the sun as well as darker people do. So be careful with it. Remember that I was gonna talk about suntan lotion, but I'm gonna do that in a separate video. But yeah, man, have a good day, peeps. I'll see you soon.